guys, and welcome back to the Pro Gaming Series 2017 Spring Split, powered by Bacchus Energy Drink. Drive your energy. We're coming back from match 1, and what an intense fight that was.
Indeed, man. For the highlight of that, it's a back and forth. You know, dun sa game 1, parang nabigay na. Clearly, the assertion of IPT as a veteran team. Pero nung game 2, wow! Jenski Esports, and it seems that, embedding more of this curse of IPT. Not sweeping through these new teams. Lahat ng new teams sa PGS, hindi na 2-0 ng IPT. That's one statement, not to mention the Elder Dragon still by Blaze. But for our MVP, despite losing the game 2 of the 2-game series, we still have the mid laner of IPT. Like, ladies and gentlemen, for the consistency. Of course, nakita natin yung influence nila simula nung game 1, nung Jace niya, and even at game 2, the threat of that rise. Right.
Well, clearly the trend right now, like you said, Shimbo, is showing, but we should also know that Light has been consistent in the mid lane. He's always a strong mid laner, and all the teams always focus onto him. So that is why he's the MVP of match 1.
Yeah, I mean, clearly compared to Spotless, even with that attempt on the Katarina, on that game 2, it has been crucial, pero ang layo talaga compared sa kung ano yung naibibigay ni Light para sa kanyang team. So there you have it, guys, MVP for our first matchup. Now, on our second matchup, it's a high-stakes match played between Emperor Esports versus Rebirth Gamers Hub.
Wow, I cannot express the pressure that the two new teams are facing right now. We are on our 5th week. They are fighting for your spot in the PGS for their relegations. I mean, the playoffs is the top 4, 5, 6, 7 relegation. The last place will be replaced by the champions of the Piltovers Finals. So you don't want to be the last place in the PGS.
Indeed. Makikita nyo naman sa standings natin of how gloomy this is really for the team Rebirth Gamers Hub. Right now, sitting only on 1 victory on top of 9 defeats. And next to them is Emperor Esports, 4 victories, 8 defeats. So, maintindihan natin na as much as possible, gusto nila na masigurado na, maipanalo na lahat ng pwede nilang ipanalo sa lahat ng natitira nilang laban dito sa ating regular season. Do take note that this is gonna be the final match to be played by Emperor Esports sa ating regular season. So, more than ever, they would want to sweep this series 2-0, at least preventing the bottom spot, the relegation spot, as you mentioned.
I mean, yeah, right now, the pressure is onto Emperor Esports. They do not want to be the last spot, same as Rebirth Gamers Hub.
Yeah,
they still have the chance to stay in the PGS. I mean, if they manage to sweep this game
and the next one,
and the next week, of course, we're gonna have a next week break because of the Intel Extreme Master Series, the IEM, and after that, it will be the 6th week of the
final
the PGS,
week ng ating regular season. Tapos papasok na po tayo sa ating playoff. So ayun po muna, bakit nyo subaybayan, di ba? Katuwiche, mga kaibigan, if you recall, dyan po naganap yung legendary XP backdoor on that Cassidy. But enough of that, let's get into the match. Let's get into the drafting phase. Emperor Esports versus Rebirth Gamers Hub. Now, do take note, guys, that we are rolling the 10-ban system here. First iterations of the bans coming in mula sa Rebirth Gamers Hub. We get a Rek'Sai. We also have a Camille and a Zac. Meanwhile, for Emperor's side, it's gonna be the Varus, a Lee Sin as well, and Ziggs. Varus and Ziggs is a champion pool that is included in the pool of High. Pero rather, Emperor Esports with their new ADC here. Sabihin for High, we got Rezonte. Okay? Para sa ADC ng Emperor Esports dito. And interestingly, they don't want any Ziggs, any Varus falling into the hands of Kinzon. Interestingly, even though it doesn't call for the meta, Kinzon can play Ezreal, Kinzon can even play ADCs. Napakalaki rin ng champion pool na meron dito ang si Kinzon at in totality pati Rebirth Gamers Hub, including Toxic, including Jaja as well.
I mean, clearly we see that RGH has a very big champion pool. So the 10-man system, they don't really feel it that much, but they always go for their most favorite top pick. It is the Maokai. Always the Maokai. I mean,
Maokai, kahit hindi pa si Mangshad yung naglalaro, kahit panon niya bida, the RGH is very familiar in playing around with this Maokai pick.
I mean, Maokai is the top pick champions in the top lane next to the Rumble, and in the jungle, we have to expect that both teams, they want to go for a snowballing jungle. But
Okay.
the Lee Sin is banned away, same as the Zac and the Rek'Sai.
Yeah, even with the Kha'Zix being available, Emperor Esports and Herbert Gamers have made an early statement. What will their jungle picks be? It can be said here that the early game will be preempted by the Herbert Gamers Hub, picking up this Elise. Meanwhile, para naman sa late game natin, yun ang tinitingnan ng Emperor Esports by picking up a secondary ADC for them. It's gonna be Graves in the jungle. Second iterations of the ban. We got a Jace here, the mid lanes. And of course, the support. Only remaining picks available para sa Herbert Gamers Hub. Same goes the same para rin sa ating Emperor Esports. You could see that the bans here would be an Ari and Malzahar mula sa Emperor Esports. You also got a Rumble ban here sa Herbert Gamers Hub. You know, because, no top lane pa mula doon dito sa lineup ng Emperor Esports. Now, let's see what will come up. We are seeing a hover of the top Kench. Let's see if that gets lucky. Yes, it will be.
It's locking on the top Genj, but notice how RGH banned away the Jace and the Rumble. Clearly, the Jace will be a threat in the top lane if facing a Maokai. I mean, Jace with the range stance, clear threat to any melee tank like a Maokai. So,
kahit gano'n pa katigas ng Maokai na yan. Ayan, not to mention the lethality chain, the lethality updates right now, that it doesn't respect any lead, but it doesn't respect you even on flat level mark. Okay? Oh, look at that. Of course, we get a Morgana. A little revisit here for the support. And I'd say, not on the support, but rather in the mid lane, hands-on, the Toxic. So we'll have a Nami and Caitlyn in the bottom duo, and completing the lineup as well here of Emperor Esports. Swap getting laid down. We got a Trundle to remove the tankiness of that Maokai in the top lane.
yeah, we've seen Trumble against the Maokai. Clearly, the Maokai is just not a match for the Trundle. So, what will Mangsha do? I mean, Trundle, if he's really, in the lead, he will pick up a Tiamat so that he can always pressure Mangshan under the turret. He can't teleport. That's what we've been seeing. If you pick a Maokai, of course, you're gonna be responding a lot.
Yes.
But if you pick a Trundle, they will deny you of that with the aggressive pushing.
And now we are supposed to expect that the damage dealers here of Emperor Esports would be aggressive. Because I'm very curious really of the Tamkench peak. You know, Zyra is still a popular support despite the nerfs on the 7.3 patch. You even got, next to the Tamkench. So walang Zyra na pick up dito despite having no bans onto him. Malzahar gets banned though. Removes that from, removed there doesn't want to be played there by Deuces, interestingly. Yun nga. So if you put a Tamkench on your composition, that calls for an aggressive playstyle for your ADC and for your mid laner and, for your main damage dealers that when things go south, you could just devour them.
But at the same time, it could work against you. I mean, if your mid laner is the majority of your damage output and the Tamkench devours you to protect you,
you don't deal damage.
You don't deal
during
damage,
the time
and
na nasa loob
during
ka
the
ng
time
Tamkench.
that you're inside, the enemy can actually turn the fight around in that window of opportunity. But here's the thing about Tamkench, you have to time it properly. I mean, you can only swallow if you feel like that person has to reposition or is in really kill range. But if you devour your ally very early, that's going to be disastrous.
And what I want to say is that you pick up the Tamkench Devour to make that split push Devour na kapag may assassin, heavy assassin comps or heavy pick comps yung kalaban. And yep, there's a pick on the Dark Binding of the Morgana, there's a pick on the foot. But I'd say picking up a Morgana in the mid lane compared to a LeBlanc, I think mas less of an assassin si Morgana. Hindi nga siguro talaga siya assassin if you compare that to a LeBlanc. More of a control mid laner si LeBlanc dito. So, hindi naman ganun ka-assassin-oriented talaga yung composition dito ng Herbert Gamers Hub. Kaya ako naging curious ngayon sa pick-up dito nung Tamkench na support.
Yeah, and also in the mid lane, LeBlanc, of course, losing that snowball potential of the nerfs in the rankings of the damage. Of course, when you're level 18, it's still the same damage, but lower ranks, you deal less damage. And that's why a Morgana pick is a nice control pick, like what you said, Shimbu. And not just that the spell shield, the black shield, it's gonna really deny the burst of the LeBlanc. So right now,
they can just siege and push it.
Yeah, siege and
push it. Kasi they got a Caitlyn, they got a Nami. They got nice sustain. Hindi assassins yung comp dito ng Herbert Gamers Hub. They get an Elise early game, but not clearly an assassin compared to something like a Talon, maybe a Kha'Zix or a Rengar, di ba? Doon ako pinaka most likely would suggest in picking up Tamkench. I would suggest try to add more damage sana para dito sa support ng Emperor Esports. I would recommend Karma nga rin.
Well, I guess they picked up the Tom Kench
Ah.
for the utility, like what you said, the split push, the devour, the ultimate, of course,
Yeah.
the reposition. But I'm also really confident that the Tom Kench will deliver CC. Of course, crowd control, he has that.
Yeah.
If there's like a tank that needs to be controlled,
Pwede
he
yun.
can swallow it up because that
Ah.
deals percentage health damage.
That's one as well. Hindi lang naman yung sarili mong allies yung pwede mong i-devour. You could also remove from the play for a time, for a window, a crucial target, diba? A crucial target in the enemy's lineup. And again, I want to mention as well this bottom lane ng Emperor Esports, Jin. You could see there that ang katapat niyang support would be the Nami. And to understand that, as shown to us by Rebenga on IPT, subbing in for IPT, Nami pick works really well against the Jin. In the instance that the curtain call has been cast in an instant, then you use the tidal wave, it's very likely you'd hit the Jin if he decides not to cancel that curtain call. And
Yeah, that's actually a great pickup. I mean, the Nami, if you see like a really constant high pick ADC like Jin, chances are people will pick up what counters that character, and that is the Nami with the tidal wave.
not to mention, it scales well. Yung Divine Blessing, no, that scale. Yung added bonus, yung enchantment dito ni Nami to increase more damage for your ADC, plus the ebb and flow, plus the passive. Whenever you land a spell on your allies, you give them free
Yeah,
movement
it gives
speed.
them sustain and damage.
Works so well with the Caitlyn.
Yeah.
It works so well with the Caitlyn. And again, sa mga viewers natin, sa mga summoners natin, we just have a little bit of a technical difficulty bago tayo mag-load sa ating game. Pero once again, may we ask you, be sure to log in your Google accounts if you are watching in YouTube. And of course, we are also live in Twitch. Of course, one of our newest platform to stream para dito sa ating regular season ng PGS 2017 Spring. It is twitch.tv/GarenaPH Esports. Okay? Of course, para sa mga events natin, sa mga summoners natin that are aspiring in becoming a part of the Pro Gaming Series, there you go, your ticket to the Pro Gaming Series. It's the Piltovers finest tournaments to be held starting February 19. Andiyan po lahat ng lineups. You can even visit the Garena Esports Tournament Hub for more infos on the Piltovers finest, of course, powered by Seagate, ladies and gentlemen. Also, sa mga summoners natin which are working employees, ladies and gentlemen, we got a special treat for you. It's an after-work hangout. Para sa mga working summoners natin, you register there as a team. Just bring in your company ID and you are amenable to join the tournament in Battlegrounds, Legarda, corner guest ng Vida Manila on February 19. Now guys, kung wala kayong teammates, kung solo flight lang kayo sa company nyo, or malay nyo work from home, I don't know really, pero you can join there kahit mag-isa ka lang. Okay? Just show your company ID and you're amenable to join not the tournament but the mini games.
That's actually a really nice line of events to
Uh-huh.
really give back to the working summoners. I mean, just because you're working, that doesn't mean that you cannot enjoy the game. And also, of course, going to the Piltovers finest, it is actually the stepping stone. Your first step to the Pro Gaming Series.
Yeah.
It's a really hard step. I mean, you have to find a team, get your points, and be at the top of the tournament to actually get into PGS.
You
So
have
it's
to be
very difficult.
organized as well on keeping track of the popping Piltovers finest tournament. Do take note guys na ang mga professional players po natin dito sa Pro Gaming Series, they are with salary, okay? Meron po silang na-receive 15,000 a month. Meron po tayong video and article for that. All professional players here in the Pro Gaming Series, they have a salary on top of their team salary, on top of their sponsors, on top of their winnings and prize pool. Now, going back into our match, makikita po natin that our featured matchup is gonna be Toxic, mid laner of the Bird Gamers Hub, of course, facing on one of my favorite mid laners ever since. Wala pa siya sa Emperor Esports, we got Fade here, and of course, the player statistics, it could be observed that Fade is gonna be winning for the most part mula kay DA hanggang gold per minute. Our players here lined up, of course, Mangshad, again, the recent substitution para sa the Bird Gamers Hub, substituting for Niebda, and of course, makikita nyo po dyan, pinakabagong player mula sa Emperor Esports, Razonte, mga kaibigan, swapping in for high. So, let's go! Match 2, Game 1, Rebirth Gamers Hub, Emperor Esports in the Summoner's Rift.
So this is going to be a really high-stake match for them. They do not want to be in the last spot in the PGS 8. The rank 8 is something that you want to avoid, and that is why these both teams have to really be focused, be on the top of their game, shaping up and delivering like what they've learned over the week.
Kanina, nakakita tayo ng Zyra. Zyra support Elder Dragon Steel. Now, between these two between these two supports, we are seeing a Kench and we are seeing an Ami. Let's see if somebody will pull off a miracle steal, using these supports. Obviously naman sa ano rin naman tayo sa mga junglers talaga yung capable na makagawa ng steal. Not to mention kanina meron ding flash smite steal na naganap. If I'm not
By
mistaken.
the Rengar spear, yeah. So clearly something that you gotta watch out for. Don't be too confident. You have to observe the surroundings. If there's an enemy jungler, don't just sit back and relax. Of course, there might be attempted steal. You gotta watch out for it and look at that EMP on the bot side.
A clear statement of the capabilities ng ating mga professional players. Now, going back on the Emperor Esports in the bottom lane side. Yep.
Yeah, it's really look at the position where the Tomken and the Jin is. I mean, they're
Early
actually
harass.
waiting. They're early harassed. They're actually trying to get that early advantage in zoning out.
Says he's stunned, not connecting on Kinson. No Aqua Prison yet to be shown here. Malaking mystery pa rin. Ano nga ba yung first kill dito ng Nami natin? But, with the tankiness of Deuces and of course the distance that a Jin can fight in.
Burn just
There's no
taking
first
that
blood.
blue buff.
Okay. Oo nga, no?
The blue buff is just snatched away from Jaja. He did not even see it coming. He should have placed the ward at least, so he has no blue buff. That's gonna be a big penalty. Reaching level 6, or I mean, of course, at least there's no ultimate, but still, EXP and gold wise, you don't wanna be far behind.
Ang hirap din hulaan na ang Graves mag-i-start sa red. The tendency normally would be in the bottom lane kung saan mas may assurance ka na makakuha ng leash or the stronger leash as they say with the support helping you on that blue buff, but rather nice play there by Burn. Start red, save your smite, steal the blue.
And look at that, Jaja really timing his entrance with the blast cone. Waiting for MJ to, I mean, maybe to overextend.
And even at Burn, there's a good tendency for Burn to actually make a gank in the top lane. So, gagamitin niya yung blast cone nga doon para makalapit. Ayan. So, now, back into our game. Interestingly, we got a classic matchup here. Medyo matagal-tagal ko tong hindi nakita. We got a LeBlanc and of course, Morgana. By definition, dati wala pang rework ang LeBlanc and Morgana is usually the one winning this. By idea, he's just shoving in the LeBlanc. And in the instance na yung LeBlanc ay mag-distortion palapit sa'yo, you just blindly dark binding on the direction kung saan nanggagaling yung LeBlanc. And it's very likely you'd land the dark binding. That kind of mechanic.
Yeah, and look at that. In the red side of RGH,
Just
Bird
game.
has 2 buffs, and the red buff just ran out for Jaja. If he duels this, he's gonna be easily picked up. Burning his flash, stun, landed on Bird, will not secure him his first blood. But the fact that Jaja does not have the blue buff, losing the Raptors to Burn is gonna be huge. I mean, Flash has been burned, so now Burn has total control right now in the jungling road. He knows the rotations of Jaja, where he is right now in the jungle.
Not to mention the level advantage na meron si Burn dito just because of that lead in the big caps in the jungle. And also the mechanic of really allowing Jaja to just get near the wall so that in the instance that the return damage of end of the line gets proc, you also get an auto-attack reset. So, really nice. Napakasakit ng Graves if all the shells nung normal hit niya connects to you. The closer he is to you, the more damage he deals.
And look at that, Toxic against Fade, really controlling Fade in the mid lane. Does not want him to snowball. I mean, if you cannot, duel against the LeBlanc, the best thing you can do is not give any kills. At least let your allies catch up.
Yes. There's this running story of one style or one strategy to counterplay a LeBlanc is not die to her in lane. If you do not die in a LeBlanc in lane, that LeBlanc already lost. Kasi by definition, yung kit ni LeBlanc, dati, nahihirapan siya mag-wave clear. Pero ngayon, with the Sigil of Malice passive, allowing the Q to splash like that through the minions, mas napaka-capable na ni LeBlanc ngayon na mag-farm. But there's a nerf na rin na nailagay doon sa Sigil of Malice.
So right now, Toxic is really having building up the Negatron clock, pure defensive right now to stay true that he's trying to control Fade in the mid lane. But You may, delay the kills, but the CS, look at that, 48 and still counting. Where Toxic is a Morgana, still struggling in terms of catching up of gold. But now Burn in the top lane, rotating. No words are placed. Mangshad is out position, burning away his flash,
Subjugate.
but the subjugate will shred its armor, giving the first blood to MJ.
Yeah, there's just lots of damage being brought here by Burn. This kind of awkward really because yung blue buff na stubble na yun, na lead na nakuha ni Burn, that allowed him to become more aggressive against an Elise pa.
Oh, look at that. Kenton dueling against the Jin. Really dangerously close. If the fourth bullet landed on him, he would have died. But there is Zhao with the sustain from the ebb and flow. Deuce is trying his best to, land those tongue lashes to at least proc his passive.
Now, revisiting this mid lane, you could see and we could understand ang hirap talaga yung situation ngayon ni Morgana. Seems that she's losing a lot against Fade here. The problem here
look
really
at
is that...
Fade. Oh man, that's what you're talking about when you're talking about the spell shield.
Yes, and again, considering Fade, the thing about LeBlanc right now, the rework on LeBlanc allows her to farm, not sacrificing his capability to become a threat talaga against the enemy, especially for the likes nung isang Morgana na immobile. I'm really curious, pero in the instance na makakuha ng isa pang AP item dito, kahit hindi core item, si Toxic, just a component item, even to the Abyssal Scepter, he can actually farm na under turret. Right now, getting that Negatron Cloak clearly and heavily diminishes the kill potential of Fate's LeBlanc.
Right now, you can see that MJ complete control in the top lane. Clearly,
52 against 37.
Yeah, man, Mangshad is having a hard time trying to find his center, but
The CS lead here
it's showing.
is all around and is in favor heavily of Emperor Esports. Like steadily lang. Interesting, no? Just because of the threat really of Burn here, getting that leeway and advantage against Jaja.
It's going to be difficult for Mangshad to even try his best to catch up and see us. I mean, if he teleports to the bot lane to respawn, right now his teleport's on cooldown. Mangshad is going to be delayed more. There's a dueling MJ. MJ spotting
Let's
Jaja's approach. He still gets stunned. There's the vengeful Mirror Storm. He burns his flash. The kill won't be secured. Oh, this might be a tower dive. They should not have went for it. I mean, the MJ right now, he has that passive. The King's Tribute, he can still sustain himself.
And the Subjugate as well provides defenses para dito kay MJ. Had it been that the Frozen Domain is on cooldown, siguro sa engage na yon, MJ wouldn't get the bonus movement speed and it could be a successful chase to be done there by Rebirth Gamers Hub. So
clearly, it's a fight for CS. Look at that in the top lane.
In the top lane, also in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Ang prioritize dito ni Toxic would be on that the CDP. Not the AP. Break that.
Here
Let's
comes
go.
the ganks from both junglers. Who will win this trade? Mangshad is dangerous, low kill range. MJ might just get the kill, but not enough. Jaja burning his flash. RGH in the top lane, losing trades in terms of pure damage.
There's just lots of damage that comes out from this snowblower ni Graves. And again, I want to see through this mid lane. Lots of damage is getting sacrificed here by Toxic by building utility and defensive. I would suggest na nirush na lang yung Fiendish Codex instead of steadily farm that Fiendish Codex instead of building that Lucidity Boots kasi it gives you AP and you also get the cooldown reduction that Lucidity provides. Napakalaga ngayon na magkaroon ng AP dito si Toxic because by that time, if you have one component AP item, isang Tormented Soul mo na lang, yung range minion lanes.
Man, look at that CS in the top lane. I can't stress enough, that's a 36 lead. And also in the mid lane, they may control Fade from not getting kills, but he can't control his laning phase. It's pretty strong with 96 CS finishing off. His first item will be, of course, there's the Sorcerer's Boots. He might build to the Abyssal Scepter to at least deny, Toxic's durability.
Yes, the combo, if ever in the instance na makuha man ni Fade dito yung Dark Binding plus Tormented Soil, he won't be having problems of re-engaging again because his life is not that punished. Pero ngayon, I'm really concerned of how lacking the damage is right now on Toxic. Good thing there's a pickup now on the Pendis Codex. So we got that one settled.
Oh, the
in
stun
bot
onto
lane.
Deuces. What's gonna happen? He flashed away. That won't be any successful ganks for RGH. That as a flash burn for Emperor Esports. But still, it's that, stealth that Jaja has.
Yeah.
With that Elise, he's rotating really well, not getting spotted. So I think Emperor should at least, expect that they can keep overextending, knowing that, Jaja might be there. And now a duel in the top lane. Fade rotating to the top lane to burn the flash to close the gap onto Mangshot, but he also has flash. Here's the thing, when you duel against a Trundle, Mangshot is really on the ropes right now.
And you could see how Jaja is pathing right now in his owing.
Oh, here comes the combo by Toxic. Fade has no flash and the ignite is onto him. Will it burn him? He flashed basic attack to secure the kill.
Ultimate gets used as well. So Chain CC, sulit na sulit yung Tormented Soil. So, kung walang Negatron Cloak pa yun, hindi kailangang mag-flash ni Toxic doon. And again, I just want to mention this. Kung mapapansin nyo guys kanina, si Jaja, yung padding niya sa sarili niyang jungle. Akala ko naglalakad siya pa uwi. Pero sobrang napakamaingat niya on face checking against Burn. He is taking the nearest path in the jungle to his base. Okay? Just to make sure that he doesn't face check Burn. And he only shows himself onto the minions mismo sa sarili niyang jungle caps in the instance that he has an idea where Burn is. So right now for this early game, clearly this is Graves pa ha, which is supposed to be invested in the late game. This early game is on Graves' hands.
Look at that. Burn expects that Toxic might be in the brush. He's trying to time it, his rotations properly. And here comes Burn with his gang in the mid lane. Toxic double CC. He has the spell immune. He won't be getting away, without, he has the spell immunity. So they'll have a hard time trying to gank the mid lane. But Toxic, dangerously low, has the ignite burn onto him. No kills will be done, but the resource has been burnt by Fade.
Fade is planning on chaining it with the collateral damage sana ni Burn. Pero masyadong napababa yung life dito ni Burn. Toxic is really good on this Morgana. Napansin mo yung Dark Binding, max range onto Burn. Still landing and connecting. Just easily predicting the movements here of the members, of one of the members here of Emperor Esports. But again, it cannot be denied. The dueling potential, the dueling power, and the burst upfront damage of Burn here. Right now, Jaja not yet near. Let's see. He's gonna recall. So at least by this point in time, he's able to build his first jungle item. Hopefully, when he recalls. Oh, he won't. He's gonna cancel. Ayun pa nga. Just because he has an idea that he may want to do something in this top lane. Kasi napakalapit din ni MJ ngayon sa tower dito mismo, ni Mangshad. Can be said that members of the Bird Gamers Hub, they are getting pushed near the ropes here of Emperor Esports.
And look at that, Burn and MJ making the approach.
Yeah,
Spell immunity is there. Here comes the chase. Also from Deuces, that's going to be 4-man gank. Toxic really staying alive.
Still
and
go
now
for the chase.
the chase is on.
Oh
Who
my
will assist
God!
Toxic? No one is there. Everything is on the
Quarantine
Toxic.
call!
A lot of resources just to kill Toxic, and now Chao has no mana.
Oh,
Has to get
kicking
away
fish.
from Fade. Flashed away, and now Kenson and Chao just barely making away from that escape.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Like, blind yun ha, na curtain call. Yan, blind yun, na curtain call. Really, lots of priority and lots of assets buried, as you mentioned. Onto Toxic. And, okay, and of course, again, going back. So, right now, the Bird Gamers Hub, they may want to be more decisive in their engages and also at least communicate well in a sense na each other keeping tabs. Sinasabihan nila ang kada teammates nila as they keep tabs of the position here of Burn and the rest of the members of Emperor Esports. Kasi talaga, tinodo chase na yan ng Emperor Esports. Could be said na pilit. Pero at this point in time, yung ganung pagpipilit ng Emperor Esports, wala pang nagagawa dito. Magagawa pa dito yung Rebirth Gamers Hub.
I'm not pretty sure that, RGH, they've been using the Maokai in almost, not all the time, almost every majority of their game. Mangshot has been really powerful with the Maokai, but Right now, EMP has more raw damage. They have the
Yun nga.
Graves and the Throttle. Plus the tankiness that Mangshad is going to bring to the fight won't be much because of the substate.
And the design of composition, the composition here, Emperor Esports, really they are poised in becoming the aggressor here. Up, fade.
Toxic still has the shield. It ran out. He flashed
Oh,
forward. And look at Burn taking a lot of damage. Curtain Call trying to pick up members. Won't do much. This is going to be a reset in fighting. They don't want to risk anything. They've got the Mountain Dew.
Clearly, Rizonte here, telling us one good news of Curtain Call, to show away members. Really, Curtain Call is a nice utility ult din, on top of its upfront damage in a sense that it gives vision in the instance that it connect. Plus, the idea of how big of yung area na kayang i-cover ng Curtain Call. And so, again, for this game, things quite looking gloomy really for the Bird Gamers Hub. There's an RNG though of an Infernal Drake. It would be really nice for the side of the Bird Gamers Hub if they want to get back in this game and dive in that
And look at that.
Infernal
There's
Drake.
the control ward placed there. Here comes the gunfight. Jaja focuses all on
That
the
is a
deuces.
dive, gentlemen.
That is a wrong focus by RGH. Jaja flashed over it for his life. That was dangerous. Focusing everything onto deuces. He has the thick skin. And here comes Fern to return the favor. What RGH did in the bot lane. Mangshell will be going down.
Yeah.
Fern just delivering so much damage. The subjugate
Yes,
will
man.
not do anything. I mean, the subjugate alone.
Oh, even if that's a Maokai, and even if it's a dive under Maokai, by context, mali na dinadive ang Maokai under turret. Pero pag na-subjugate siya, you know, clearly this Maokai is just another big champion who's not really tanky. In the instance that his defensive stats is stolen here by MJ and Emperor Esports, it would be wise in capitalizing that kind of advantage in this top lane matchup. They're gonna bag in their first third of the game.
With that first turn in their hands, that will give them a gold lead of 4,000. 1-3 score, 17 minutes of the game. Look at the itemization of MJ. Of course, the first item is the TMS.
Yeah.
Picked up the Spectre Scroll for that magic resistance against
Halo-halo nga eh.
Yeah, but look at that. He might finish up the Revenant's Hydra, picking up the Vampire Scepter. But Burn, look at that Hex Drinker for that, mid lane.
And
Morgana.
no first item yet on Kinson as well. Look at that.
Gonna be a duel while Toxic has to run away from this. He cannot risk it, but he does. Burn secures the kill. Top lane, Mangshot is in the scene. He flashed for Fade,
That
but
is too
instead
aggressive.
wait for Burn, and now he's just being kited away. Deuces trying to land the tongue lashes. Mangshot is dangerously low. He has to survive. He pops this Maelstrom, won't do much, and Resante just picks it up with a basic attack. The fourth bullet was there, and now MJ subjugate. He is huge,
Yeah, man.
tanky, and now just diving that turret.
MJ not even using early that subjugate. Kaya rin napapansin nyo na makunat-kunat si Mangshad doon. Pero I'd say na that is something forced too much by the top laner here of Bird Gamers Hub.
I mean, the subjugate can be worked for two ways. It could be used to really make the tank useless. It could be also used for focus fire. I mean, if your teammates feel like, let's say, Kinzan is the high priority target, subjugate Kinzan so he can be instantly deleted.
In the context of Philippine folklore, are you familiar with Capre? You're not
No.
familiar with Capre?
No.
These are these big guys na tumitira sa malalaking puno. And in a sense, kinukuha nila yung lakas nila mismo sa bahay din nila on that puno. So, it's a reminiscent scenario really here. In the instance that a Trundle, big guy, subjugating na Amakai. Just my thoughts here, seeing this kind of matchup. Because right now, Mangshad, as we mentioned, a tank being rendered useless by just one skill.
I mean, clearly, RGH has to change that strategy where they always depend on the Maokai. I mean, Emperor Esports, they already picked it up. I mean, let's just pick a Trundle to make the Maokai useless. Just remove his tankiness with the subjugate, instead making MJ the tank. I mean, he doesn't need to focus on any defensive items because of the subjugate. Picking up the Revenant's Hydra, finishing it up first, will be following up with maybe with the Spirit Visage for that sustain, the King's Tribute passive.
Of course. So all that is going to be done here by MJ is pressure the lanes. Be that split push Trundle. And it's very likely right now I cannot think of anyone that can 1v1 the Trundle in the instance that he decides to push.
And yeah, even Mangcha, look at him picking up the Warden's Mail, the Glacial Shroud, the Ninja Tabe. The pure defensive is not enough. It won't do much. He might go for a Frozen Heart if he chooses to, but still difficult. MJ really pressuring Mangshad. But also in the mid lane, Toxic really tried his best to control Fade. It was just 0-1-4, but he still has that. Look at that CS 187 finishing up the Abyssal Scepter.
Indeed, he can go for Frozen Heart if he chooses to. Some of our summoners, though, they have no choice but to pick up and have a Frozen Heart. So, let's see, guys, here, Toxic.
Toxic did not see that coming. Burn really taking advantage of the RGH's lack of vision. Jaja
Man.
repelled over to the roof, but won't do much. Sigil of Malice will secure Fate's first kill of the game. Clearly, RGH not doing so well because what Emperor did was, you know, they have to, RGH has the tankiness and everything, but Emperor just takes it away with no trouble.
And Emperor has the dueling, the skirmishing assets. Ayun yung problema. So kapag nagkaroon ng standoff in the jungle side, it's very likely that RGH will lose. What RGH can do is to stall out this game because they got wave clear. They got lots of defensive tools in the form of the Kicking Traps and the Tormented Soil ni Morgana. So, antay na lang nila. Dapat kung papalag sila, ewan ko nga, baka it's very likely na baka matalo pa nga yung Revert Gamers. Pero, by as a rule, RGH should decide na, guys, let's fight when one champion of Emperor Esports is getting third hits. Doon lamang. Doon lamang. Because right now, 5v5 head-on, I don't think so that they will win.
Yeah, clearing from the itemization alone, Brizonte getting up that, you know,
Edge of the Night.
Edge of the Night, the Yomu's Ghostblade. Who will be the saving hero of RGH? It could be Kinzen with the Caitlyn. I mean, in the late game.
Late game talaga.
Yeah,
so just stall the game.
Stall the game, but
you know, Infernal Drake.
yeah, when
I
you
don't
stall
think so.
the game, you're giving Emperor more time to
get this kind of objective.
Objectives like the Infernal Drake, no trouble for them. They will back away because they've secured the objective.
Yes.
And going back, Jaja building again, pure burst type Elise. Instead of maybe we're so used to seeing the defensive type.
Yeah.
In the Elise, but right now they have the defensive. It's Mangshad, but it's just pure butter to the Trundle right now.
You could just spill for your ADC naman. You know, I think it would pay off if the Elise had built more defensively in a form of, you know, more health. Could be. Pero ever since the nerf on the Rylai's, naging awkward na rin yung
Look at
team
that,
niya.
MJ showing his dominance in the top lane. No fear whatsoever. He has popped the subjugate. Look at the tankiness, and here comes Fade to the rescue. Look at that, finding, reaching all over to the sky. Fade might be the first one to go down.
Wow.
No, he distortions away, and the Ice Killer blocking off Mangcha's chase, and now MJ just focusing up the Mangcha, the flash Binfer, another flash again.
Wow.
It's going to be a 2-1 trade. Of course, Emperor has the win in that trade.
And looking at that health ni MJ, it's very hard to imagine na siya pa yung initiatan. Siya yung unang tinarget dito ng Revert Gamers Hub. Right now, Burn though, is letting everything burn through Toxic, dealing lots of damage, almost bringing him below half health.
Clearly, the TMF plus the Spirit's Vision for the King's Tribute pattern is enough, and Kingzon might be Deuce's snack right now. He will devour him, repositioning, giving the present to Rezonte. He flashed away, burning his exhaust, and now another red lurk stack.
Oh!
Tongue lash to stun! Tongue lash to stun! No,
This
it
target
does
is
not!
angry!
Now is Zhao bleeding away the ebb and flow. He does not have enough mana to use them.
You can see how fearful that Tamkins is opening his mouth. Sobrang angry niya. Hindi niya makuha yung kill sa dalawa. Sa dalawang member dito, the bottom duo of Revert Gamers Hub. Right now, there's a clear standoff happening here in the top lane. It would be better for RGH really to do that. Under turret, but the top lane, inhibitor turret is already gone. And what will come up is the search and win link, guys. Open up a new tab. Be sure to type the link and follow the instructions. Be the first one to finish the instruction and you get yourself a mystery gift. Also, sa mga summoners natin ay kung hindi man kayo ang nauna, you still get the chance to win the final mystery gift of today's episode.
And that's, of course, we're still having a search for win. Stay tuned for that. And going back to the game, clearly it is the 5th week. This is actually the very crucial game for both Emperor Esports and Reverse Gamers Top. And clearly, Emperor showing their A game to right now in the second day of the 5th week. We have to really see how these new teams evolve over the week, changing their strategy, really practicing hard, coming back strong, and there's Emperor Esports. 2 to 10. 25 minutes in the game, they have complete control of objectives. 6 turrets, 2 drakes. RGH has none. They have to come back strong.
Lots of lethality being brought here by Emperor Esports in the form of magic resistances as well. Napakaraming night shift. Edge of the Night, yung dalawa ang binuo dito mula sa lineup ng Emperor Esports. Not just on the main ADC but also on the secondary ADC as well. On that Graves burn, again, not losing the lead that he got early on in this game. Right now, clearly a threat to any member of the Vert Gamers Hub, not to mention of the presence of the Trundle as well. Now split pushing this bottom lane.
Yeah, you can delay Fade's damage in the early game, but you cannot delay the late scaling of the LeBlanc. The LeBlanc's damage in the late game, level 18, unchanged. So, what RGH's strategy was to hold out long enough for Kinzan to actually finish up the Runa target and Infinity Edge. That's enough already for RGH to at least counter Emperor Esports to advance. But clearly in the bot lane, Bankshot is all alone.
Yep.
Subjugate, no problem for MJ. Turret diving and turret hogging that damage. MJ clearly showing the power of Trundle, and that will answer to a Baron uncontested.
And dahil sa Trundle, kaya i-tower dive ang isang Maokai. Imagine that. Clearly guys, I think, ayan o, sa mga summoners natin, sa mga viewers natin who's having a hard time against sa Maokai, ayan po, Trundle, ladies and gents, Baron in the hands of Emperor Esports.
The Baron's in the hand of Emperor Esports, and now Kinzan is really out position. The curtain call will sweep up the fight. Fade is there, and same as Kinzan and Toxic. They won't do much, but here comes the kill. Of course, it connects, but that won't do much with 4 members of RGH deleted from the map. It is going to be maybe game set if Emperor Esports went from, just cleans up their whole base.
They could actually take an inhibitor turret as well in the top lane, on top of this mid lane. So even if they won't be able to finish this game, maybe knock on the Nexus turrets. Clearly, it's just a matter of time. If they do this by textbook, and methodically, they are set to win game 1 of this series.
Clearly, they're not wasting any time just wrecking the base of RGH. They have to, right now, they have to depend on Kinzan. Right now, what happened in the Baron Pit was somehow a reckless play because why go to the Baron Pit knowing that EMP has that huge advantage item-wise, gold, and level? Why contest the Barons? You should at least, group up and at least, think, what are you gonna do next?
Only 1 inhibitor is remaining here para sa side ng Vert Gamers Hub. There's actually a death already sa kanilang Nexus turret as well. By strategy, pwede na lang, i-pull yung members dito ng Revert Gamers Hub dito sa bottom lane as steadily the minions, the empowered minions, are pushing into the mid lane and into the top lane.
Kinzan looking good in that itemization with that lore, with that auto-penetration.
Oh wow!
And that won't do much. Fade noticed the high priority, taking it out with 38 seconds in the death timer. EMP.
And you can see the outplay as
will
well.
Take this game.
You can see as well the outplay on Toxic flashing away doon sa Dark Binding in front of 4 members of Revert Gamers Hub. Clearly, that allows Fate to pull out a -1 against Kinzan.
Yeah, man, that's Subjugate.
Wow.
MJ just turning the tides around, turning Mangshot's tankiness against himself. Mangshot in the middle of everything, trying to sustain the fight. Tsunami to disengage. There is the redemption. EMP staying healthy and strong with 2 Nexus turrets down. This is game set. Emperor Esports showing that they are still in the game, strong and coming back.
Clearly, that's gonna cement Emperor Esports. Some assurance and very likely might be na, mapapalayo sila doon sa relegation spot. Napaka-convincing nung victory na ginawa ng Emperor Esports dito. Not just on that mid-game lead but also starting on the early game. Parang lahat ito nagsimula doon sa blue buff steal lamang ni Burn. He opened up his lead. He asserted that level 4 against level 3 at least. gank for the top lane, gank on the other lanes, manifest itself. There's also a face check na nagawa din ni Jaja by mistake on Burn. And easily, you got a lot of damage threats early on mula sa jungler dito ng Emperor Esports. We would like to observe that. Makikita niyo po dito that the stats for Burn here, KDA is perfect. 5-0-3. You know, leading his team on these graves as well. Not to mention the performance down there by Fate. 5-3-6. You can see the small skirmishes, napaka-capable ng Emperor Esports dito to just poke away
Wow,
the
look at the
members of
damage that,
RGH.
look at that damage by MJ. The subjugate plus the chop, giving him more AD, more defensive.
That is, yeah, but that is damage taken pa. So, you know, pinalambot mo na yung tank nung kalaban, ikaw pa yung naging tank din para sa inyo. Clearly a reverse of the Maokai. And clearly nice pickup as well. Win conditions getting checked one by one by Emperor Esports. So let's see what will be the adjustments of Rebirth Gamers Hub from that game. It's a very, I'd say it's kind of a one-sided game. Simula pa lang na hindi na nakapick up dito yung Rebirth Gamers Hub. But, you know, Rebirth Gamers Hub, PGS team ito. If, you know, if there's one team that's very capable as well on coming back, isang PGS team po yun. So let's see how will the team from Pampanga play their final game for today's episode. When you give shoutcaster for that game, I am Shinbu with a 1 for an I, and of course with me is Vulcan. This is day 2 of the 5th week of the Pro Gaming Series 2017 Spring Split, powered by Bacchus Energy Drink. Drive your energy.
This is toxic. No one understands everything about the
Guarding
toxic.
call.
A lot of resources just to kill toxic, and now Zhao has no mana.
Oh,
Has to get
kicking
away
fish.
from Faye. Backing away, turn the finger. When RGH hits the bot lane, Manshell will be going down. Yeah, but he does. Burn secures the kill. Top lane, Manshell is in the scene. He flashed for Faye.
That
but
is too
instead
aggressive.
wait for Burn, and now he's just kiting away. Uses trying to land that some lashes. Manshell is dangerously low. He has to survive. He pops this Maelstrom, won't do much. And there's something that takes low with the basic attack. The fourth bullet was there, and now MJ.
Let's see, guys, here, Toxic.
Toxic did not see that coming. Burn really taking advantage of RGH's lack of vision. Jaja repelled over to the roof, but won't do much. Signal of malice. But now Kinson is really out of position. The curtain call will pick up the fight. Fade is there, and same as Kinson and Toxic. They won't do much, but here comes the kill. Of course, it connects, but that won't do much with four
See as
members.
well the outplay on Toxic, flashing away doon sa Dark, finding in front of 4 members of Rebirth Gamers Hub. Clearly, that allows Fate to pull out a -1
There is-
against Kinson.
Yeah, man, that's subjugate.
Wow.
MJ just turning the tides around, turning Manshell's time even against himself. Manshell in the middle of everything, trying to sustain the fight. Tsunami to disengage. There is the redemption. EMP staying healthy and strong with 2 Nexus turrets down. This is game set. Emperor Esports showing that they are still in the game, strong and coming back.
Really, that's gonna send